Most of us at one point in our lives have needed something stronger than a Tylenol or an Advil. After a surgery or a broken bone, you took it for a week and then it helped and you never thought about it again. Imagine if that was your life every day. Imagine if pain never went away. Now imagine you were told you couldn't have that medication. How would you feel? I'm TJ. I have a chronic invisible illness, called invisible because I don't always look sick. Chronic because it doesn't go away. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's connective tissue disorder. My connective tissue is faulty. It doesn't work right. My joints dislocate, my hands, my ribs, my hips. Some days I can't get out of bed. Now imagine if you had a disability or an illness, say diabetes, and you go to the doctor and you were told, no, you can't have insulin anymore. You're not allowed. I can't prescribe it anymore because other people use it wrong. Do you find that fair? Do you find that equal? Well, the new guidelines and laws that the CDC is trying to pass is leaving a whole community of people behind and left out. There's no doubt that there's an epidemic in this country of people misusing opiates. It's just no doubt. It happens every day. It's on the news every day. But what about the other opiate epidemic? The one where the people who need it and use it correctly can't have it anymore. Do you know that doctors are now afraid to prescribe for these patients? Some doctors are even closing up shop and changing professions. They're in fear of going to jail, being fined, losing their license. It's unfair and it's unequal. I belong to many online groups, specifically for my disease and for chronic pain groups. There's not a day that goes by that there's not a post of someone talking about how they lost their medicine or their doctor has fired them because they don't want to prescribe pain medication anymore. Imagine having that kind of fear. Every time you go to your doctor, he's going to tell you no and tell you to find a new doctor. What do you do next? These life-preserving medications are abused by some people, but do you know what happens when people who use them correctly and need them don't have them? According to statistics, people who have chronic pain and hold jobs, when they don't have their pain medicine, productivity goes down 60%. Tell me that doesn't affect the economy. These people can't work. They end up going on welfare, Social Security. What else? What other choice do they have? Now, you say, well, there's other things people can use. There's NSAIDs, like Advil and ibuprofen. Well, a lot of people can't take those medications. I, for one, am allergic to them. And they only help with inflammation. They don't really help with chronic pain. They're for a headache or a backache that you have after a long day of moving boxes or something. And cannabis is very helpful to a lot of people in the chronic pain community, but it's not legal in every state. And even in the ones that it is, not every condition is on the list. And if you're depressed, doctors will give it to you. Chronic pain causes depression. Depression causes chronic pain. It's a vicious cycle that we're all stuck in. Not a week goes by in these groups that there's not someone talking about depression, being hopeless, or wanting to give up. And sadly, quite often in these groups, there's a post put up saying RIP to somebody because they decided to end their suffering. It's frustrating when you go from doctor to doctor and you're told, I can't help you. You have to go with somebody else. The guidelines say this, the law says this, CDC says this. Well, you know what the CDC says? That over 50 million Americans suffer from chronic pain. They go on to say that 20% of these people were prescribed opioids. They make that sound like it's a lot by stating that's one bottle of pills for every adult in America. That may be true, but one bottle of pills is barely a month's supply. Now, what if your pain lasts years? What are you supposed to do? You can take all the antidepressants in the world. The pain's still there, so is the depression. And with depression comes hopelessness. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a fiance, I'm a student, I'm a friend, I'm a myriad of things. But I'm also a chronic pain patient, and I'm an opiate user. I take them every day. It takes me years sometimes to find a doctor who's secure enough to prescribe them. And then after a year or two, he gets scared off too, and then I'm let go. And I have to find another one. So what do I do in the meantime? I suffer. I don't get out of bed, can't use my hands, can't bathe myself, dress myself, can't do stuff with my family. I just stay home while they go out and do stuff. we definitely have to do something about opiate epidemic, about people abusing drugs. But do you know that most people who abuse drugs and overdose from them have a mixture in their system? It's almost never just one. It's people who abuse them, don't take them correctly, mix them with alcohol or benzos or other medications. So what do we do? Well, what we don't do is take them away from 50 million people in America. And do you know, not prescribing opiates does not stop everybody with chronic pain from getting opiates. Instead, they obtain illegally pills that are not produced by pharmaceutical companies. They're illegally produced by the guy down the street. Some turn to heroin. Some turn to cocaine. Some just kill themselves. I personally know of a man, 55 years old, who had a business, family, grandchild, another one on the way. Doctor cut him down over a period of a few months and then just stopped giving to him. He crawled in his bed for about 3 months. Couldn't take it anymore. His wife came home from shopping. He'd killed himself. Said he couldn't take it anymore. So what happens if the doctor stops giving them to every pain patient? What if a third of those people kill themselves? Will that become an epidemic? We have to do something. But taking them away from people who use them correctly is not the answer. Doctors who prescribe for their pain medicines for chronic pain patients need to be protected. Yes, they need to be monitored. They need to be upfront because we all know that there's doctors out there who just want to make a buck. But taking them away is not the answer. Next time you see a news article or something on TV about somebody who overdosed, pay close attention. Chances are they weren't just taking medication that they were prescribed. 3/4 of the people who overdose on prescribed opiates are not the intended prescriber. They're not the person the medicine was prescribed for. They were obtained illegally. Next time you hear about somebody in your personal life that's on opiates, don't be so fast to be like, oh, why are they on opiates? You're going to become addicted? Because you know what? Addiction, physical addiction, is not as bad as a suicide. Being physically addicted just means if you don't have them, you feel sick for a few days and you hurt. But we're used to hurting. So tell me what's worse. Next time you hear about opiate use or a doctor refusing, think about the impact it has on somebody's life.